All right, I'm Johnny. I'm an elite trail runner, disabled cross-country skier.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
And today we're going to be going into a tier list of all of my essential stuff for trail running. So without further ado, I'm going to crack on. I'm going to be looking that way, by the way, because that's what my computer screen is. So bear with me. First things first, we're going to do on this. I've got like 6 tiers that stuff goes into, and I'm effectively ranking stuff in terms of how essential I view this is to both like training and racing. Couple of caveats to the tier list before we crack on. Like, I'm not making recommendations in terms of what kit you should buy here. In future videos, I'll be giving like breakdowns of different bits of kit. I am sponsored by Dynafit primarily, so like all the kit you'll see here is Dynafit stuff, as and when they make it. But like for this list, like, don't take recommendations from me. I know that I'm going to get slammed if I do that because, you know, it's biased. There's nothing I can do to escape that. It's how I make my living. But, you know, for the caveat to start with, there are other brands available. You're an adult, probably. Like, use your own judgment. But this is my take on how things should lie. So, first one we're going to go with is something which is super popular these days, and that's like 80-20 training. So this is effectively like, I wouldn't even say it's like a methodology, it's more like a training philosophy, whereby they reckon that 80% of your training should be at like a low effort. So primarily probably sort of zone 2, zone 1, zone 2, pretty relaxed effort, and then 20% of that should be at sort of at and around race pace. I think that zone 2 training is misunderstood and often poorly applied. It's something that, as a general guideline, particularly if you're running longer distance stuff, so anything over about 3,000 meters where you're not like sprinting, which, you know, most of this list applies to, 80-20 is probably not a bad rule of thumb, but at the same time, it's also one of those ones that training is such an individual thing that it's the methodology you use is very much going to depend on like how much time you have, what you actually want to get from your training in the first place. And you know, there's so many different factors that I think broadly applying a singular rule like that to this is probably not the way to go. So like, I think as a general baseline, if you don't want to sort of overthink it, it's probably not a bad start, particularly if you're not an elite runner. But it's certainly not the be all and end all. So I'm going to put 80-20 into, I'm going to put it into like thinking about it. It's kind of like B tier. I don't think there's anything like overtly wrong with it. I certainly don't think it's going to do you any harm, like some of the stuff that I'll put in like the bottom of the list. But it's not very nuanced, I don't think. So we'll leave that there. Next one, AI coaching. What do I think of AI coaching? Again, I'm slightly biased on this. I do coaching of my own, and so I, you know, don't want my job to be replaced by the robots. But again, I think kind of similarly to 80-20, really, it's something which, as things stand right now, to give you like a general steer in terms of what you want to be doing, AI coaching's probably not a bad starter for 10. I think it's not very nuanced. Certainly, I know as a disabled athlete, and we'll come on to this with a couple of the other things we'll talk about later, as a disabled athlete, it's actually really difficult to even get like relevant metrics which is what the AI uses to put your training program together. So I think AI coaching is probably, it certainly makes running more accessible and like cheaper in the majority of instances, I would say. But it's not very specific. It lacks a bit of nuance, and therefore I'm for now gonna put it in the probs don't bother tier, because I think it's something which, until it improves, you're gonna get significantly better results by consulting with a real human being. Right, arm sleeves. Whilst I don't have anything against arm sleeves, this is something which personally I would never use. Like, wear sleeves, just put a long sleeve t-shirt on. I kind of don't see the point, like particularly in like trail running, where you're going to be, running a bit further. Probably, yes, you might be going up to altitude, so it might get a bit warmer. But like, I don't know. My sort of thing on arm sleeves is, are these not used by sort of track sprinters for aero? I don't know. I'm not sold on them at all. I would say that, I don't know, maybe there are specific circumstances where you're ascending 1,000 meters at a time and going up to altitude, and then your arms get cold. Like, I do get that when you're running, your body reduces blood flow to your arms, etc., so you're more prone to get cold. But I mean, I don't think I've ever gotten cold to the extent that I would need to wear arm sleeves over just like putting a long sleeve t-shirt or jacket on. No, these are a waste of time. I don't think they're not detrimental, but they're definitely not worth it. Like, unless you get given a free pair and want to try them, like, no, I wouldn't bother. Barefoot shoes, interesting. These were all the rage when I started running in like 2011.
Fuck, you're old.
I have multiple issues with barefoot shoes. So the argument that was made about them at the time was that, like, and there was a compelling book called Born to Run, written about how we were, born as hunters and all of this, etc. And so it was sort of a natural biomechanical thing. That's fine, but like, we have also evolved. We don't hunt for sport anymore, or sorry, we do only hunt for sport now, not for survival. In the context of running, like, the reality to barefoot shoes is they change your biomechanics if you've been used to running in something which has got a bigger heel to toe drop. The vast majority of running shoes these days work between like a 6mm heel to toe, and sort of predominantly for women, actually women's shoes tend to be a little bit higher, up to like a 12mm heel to toe drop. If you switch from like a big drop to no drop straight away, you run the risk of particularly like rear chain injury, calf strain, Achilles tendon strain, particularly if you sort of maintain a distance. My other issue with barefoot shoes is they don't have any cushioning at all under the sole. So they also didn't do themselves any favours when Vibram, allegedly, I believe, sort of misled people by putting out some papers which were not done correctly, I think. So barefoot shoes, look, I personally think barefoot shoes are a good training tool. They can help make your feet more robust, like toughen you up in general, etc. But under like very specific circumstances, and I would say like not like relevant for the vast majority of people. I'm putting them in not worth it. I don't think they're a particularly good thing. Are they going to make you actively worse? Like, in certain circumstances, yeah, they would. No, we'll put them in not worth it for now. I think they serve a purpose, but only under like very specific circumstances. Right. No, that is the wrong thing. Bit of a more positive one. Right, bog roll. Or for the more cultured of us, toilet paper. Yeah, take bog roll on a run with you. Like, why would you not? I'm lucky. I've got a pretty cast iron stomach, but so I don't get sort of GI issues when I'm running, or haven't, touch wood, up to this point. But people do, and it can get messy. Like, yeah, absolutely. Like, bog roll. Like, if there's any danger at all, like, take it with you. Pro tip: put it in a Ziploc bag, waterproof Ziploc bag. Your sweaty back and toilet paper like don't mix. So fold it into like individual single-use portions and Ziploc bag it. Would be my pro tip. Braces and orthotics. This is, I would say, not even a specific one to like para athletes. Sort of knee braces, that kind of thing can be super useful for recovering you from injury, etc. Like, I think general sort of physio advice about recovering from injuries and stuff is, if an activity is causing you pain over sort of level 3 out of 10, then you shouldn't really be doing it. And I think that, a bit of bracing, stuff like that can, make a difference between getting back to training like a little bit earlier. My personal attitude on any form of bracing is like take it off as soon as you can, because then it allows you to kind of strengthen as opposed to having something else like compensating for that. But there is also a reality particularly with like orthotics on like disabled athletes, and I would extend that to like prosthetics, any form of like wheelchair that enables people to do activities and stuff. A lot of this stuff can be the difference between being able to get out the door and do something or not. So for me, like, yeah, absolutely, I'm a firm believer in, if you require an orthotic to enable you to do an activity, then yeah, do it. So for me, this is absolutely like S tier. It can be the difference between doing something or not. Calf sleeves. Okay, so unlike arm sleeves, I have a kind of different take on this. I used calf sleeves when I was developing a bit of Achilles tendonitis when I did the Southwest Coast Path in 2022. And because I have like a peculiar gait, they kind of helped like hold everything together. So I'm a massive fan of calf sleeves. I do use them. I would say that the compression benefits of them are probably overstated in terms of like the science that supports that, increase of blood flow to help recovery, etc. I think it probably does play a role, but is it going to be massively significant in recovery? Are there better things you can do? Like, yeah, there probably are. But from my point of view, in terms of like if you have anything other than a perfectly like neutral gait, they can help sort of hold stuff together, literally by like just compressing it. So I definitely think they serve a role. Is it a probably do this or thinking about it? I think they're quite situational. I don't think you need them all the time. They're definitely not S tier. I'm going to put them in thinking about it, because again, I think the vast majority of people like don't need them and will rarely ever have a use for them. But at the same time, like, they definitely do have a purpose. They're definitely a good thing. Right, this is something that I've never used. This is carb drinks. I have the traditional like trail runner's enmity towards any like road runner, like triathletes, cyclists. Like, all of these people are ferociously boring because all they care about is split times and power outputs and all this dull stuff.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
Carb drinks, as far as I'm aware, are kind of a hangover from like road cycling and triathlon. I found a picture of the most minging sounding one that I could find, which was like a savoury one as well. It's like basically sort of tomato soup in a powder, which, yeah, like when it's sort of lukewarm out of a hydro flask, yeah, seems about as appealing as like kicking yourself in the nuts. I get the point of it. I suspect if you were running any significant distance on trail, it's probably not going to be very sustainable long term. Like, personally, I really hate that feeling of being like not full, or at least like having a super empty stomach, which I find only fluids does for me. So yeah, I am not sold on this stuff at all. Is it going to actively make your life worse? It's possible, isn't it? I guess, yeah, like nutrition's such an individual thing. It probably would make my life worse, but probably not everyone's. I'm going to put it in the probably don't bother, because I think some people are going to have an urge to try it, and I probably don't think it's terrible, but at the same time I'm utterly unsold on it. Right, CBD oil. There's a few things in this list that I've put that are kind of like trendy. I think in particular, for some reason, like recovery stuff has like people seem to think that there are certain recovery methods that are like really trendy. We'll come on to a few of the key offenders later. CBD oil, I think the buzz around it has died down a little bit now, but what does CBD oil do? Like, it's primarily there to like decrease inflammation in the muscles. The biggest issue with it is the amount of active ingredient that's required, and I don't mean active ingredient in terms of the cannabinoids. You don't find that much in CBD oils, certainly not at an affordable price. So CBD oil is something where you're getting, frankly, like placebo effect. There is not a statistically significant benefit to be gained from using like commercially produced CBD oils, particularly not something which is, I don't know about all of the laws all over the world everywhere, but certainly not that's sold in the UK, which is where I'm based. I think CBD oils complete nonsense, basically, in terms of what is proven versus what is actually sold. The science says there is a benefit, like fine. Are you going to get that benefit from anything you purchase? No. And therefore, from my perspective, like, it is an active detriment, because you're basically just wasting your money on sort of, like weed flavored oil, basically. So that is actively making your life worse. Right. This one, I asked my friends about stuff which they wanted me to sort of put in here, and because my friends are largely arseholes, dating apps is one which I suspect more applicable to me than most people. I basically spend all my time on the trails on my own.
Gay!
And because that's how I spend my life as a professional endurance athlete, I never meet people like. So, right, where do I put this? What do I think about dating apps? I think they're a necessary evil. I prefer meeting people in person, but I never get to do that. But dating apps are notoriously bad at actually getting people to meet, because of sort of how they operate. Right, what am I thinking about this? I'm going to put it in thinking about it. I don't think they're as bad as people make out, and I think that they are. Yeah, I've been on a couple of dates from dating apps, and they're fine. You meet real people now and again, and yeah, I think as long as you don't get your expectations too far up, then it's certainly, I don't know, like, what's the alternative? Like, go down to the local pub on your own and just sort of lurk there for a few hours? Like, I'm not sure. Fine, we'll put it there for now. Right, down jackets. I bloody love a down jacket. But, like, what purpose does it serve when we're actually running? And the answer to that's, like, very little, basically. Like, down jackets are far too hot. You will be sweating your tits off if you're trying to run in a down jacket. The standard militarism of like start cold, be bold, start cold. There is not a chance that you're going to be undertaking any form of trail run in a down jacket. Having said that, carrying one with you if the weather comes in, if for whatever reason you're actually forced to stop, you get injured, something like that, down jacket in combination with a waterproof layer if the weather requires it, is a super good way to keep warm. And certainly for me, like, I would take one with me, particularly if I was doing something like remote, where I was possibly going to have to wait like hours to like get rescued, or I was doing like, if I was stopping for sort of, you know, a period of time or an evening or whatever, just to keep me warm whilst I was stationary. So I'm going to put, like, I thought I'd be ranking down jackets higher, actually. I haven't, like, obviously I haven't planned this before. I'm going to put it in thinking about it. I think there are certain situations in which it'll be really useful. I think that in the majority of instances, like top couple of tiers, you probably wouldn't need to take one with you. But yeah, like, you know, they are a great thing. Hydration tablets. This is a bad picture of a hydration tablet because I haven't figured out how to make icons properly yet. What do I think of these? They absolutely have a place. Like, I completely get the social aspect of them. You know, like, working out sociably does encourage people to put more effort in, etc. Like, I have no issue with this style of workout for those reasons. But I do think that there are certain things that get done in these workouts which I don't think should be raced over. Like, I have had concerns for years around the CrossFit modality of like Olympic lifting quickly. I that is not good for your joints. Like, full stop. That's, you know, the science behind that is not a good thing. But I suppose, look, context of trail running, is high rocks going to make you a better runner? No. Because the amount of time required to do that, like, you're better off going for a run, is the reality. Does it, however, like, serve a purpose in terms of, do I think that parts of the high rocks sort of modality and general hybrid training, like, is it a good thing? It's not going to make you a worse runner. It's not very efficient. Like, if you want to become a really good trail runner, go trail running as, like, first and foremost. We'll come on to, like, strength training later. If you want to become a good trail runner and hybrid workouts are going to be your mode of doing it, it's going to be super inefficient. So it's not actively detrimental, I don't think. With the strength training caveat that I put in earlier, I don't think it's, if trail running, if you want that to be your thing, like, it's not worth it. There are more efficient ways of doing this. So there it is. Next category, hydration packs. That was not a choreographed sip of water as well, but look at that. I love a good hydration pack, but I don't like wearing a shirt. And there is a conflict there. They do chafe like fuck. Without, like, I've tried this, and for me, even with, like, modern materials, like wearing a hydration vest and running without a shirt on are not compatible. You will be chafed to hell after this. So the reality is, if you're running any significant distance, particularly over a significant period of time, you're going to need a hydration pack. They're also super useful because, you know, as per this list, it enables you to carry all your kit with you. So if you want headphones, head torch, etc., probably do this. Like, probably do hydration packs. If you're, like I say, if you're running any significant distance, particularly if you want to enter a race that's got a mandatory kit list, you're going to need one. Do you need it all the time? Absolutely not. Do you need one to get out of your door and go trail running? Like, absolutely not. But yeah, they are a good thing. Don't wear one for parkrun. Like, you do not need a hydration pack for running a 5k. Yeah, you'll have more fun and look like less of a loser if you do that. Ice baths. I do not like cold water. I like being cold. I don't mind being wet. I despise being cold and wet. So you're going to get a very biased take on ice baths now. But the manner in which, like, ice has been considered scientifically for use in recovery, both recovery from injury and recovery from sort of exercise, has changed over the last few years. And basically, ice is now primarily used for, like, an analgesic effect, so painkilling effect, rather than actually stimulating recovery. In a lot of instances, actually putting stuff into like freezing conditions actually blunts, like, muscular recovery. So there are side effects which the science around is like pretty, I'm going to say vague at best actually, in terms of like cryotherapies. We're talking neurological benefits, mental health benefits, etc. Like the science is, the jury's still out on all of that. Ice baths are super popular. You get all these fucking idiots who put like their morning routines and dunking their face into ice water. Yeah, like it's gonna wake you up because it's fucking cold. It's kind of a no-brainer. Like, you might as well, I don't know, if you want to inflict pain on yourself to wake yourself up, there are more efficient ways of doing that. Ice baths are a complete waste of time. You are going to make yourself miserable for very little benefit, if any at all. So yeah, they are going straight in the bin. That is absolutely not a good use of time. Massage guns. Right, we can directly compare these to foam rollers because they basically do the same thing. But my view on massage guns is A, they're more expensive than foam rollers. B, like they're also much more intense than foam rollers. Again, you're basically using something to like beat up your muscles to stimulate blood flow to improve recovery is the theory behind them. Having said that, like I would equate it to the equivalent of like giving yourself a massage. Like if you're not a trained masseuse or trained sports massage therapist, would you sit there like massaging your legs for recovery? Absolutely not. Like that is basically what using a massage gun on yourself does. I would say in the limited instances where you need a sports massage, like go and pay for a proper sports masseuse to give you one. Don't DIY it yourself at home with a massage gun. At the same time, there are circumstances in which you're going to make stuff worse. Like, I'm really wary about using stuff like this during long distance events because you're operating on pretty fine margins, and actually you could potentially sort of torpedo like a race or a long distance event by trying to do something like this sort of midway. Having said that, are most people going to do themselves any harm with one? No, probably not. No, they're not. I would say they're. I don't think they're as bad as ice baths because the reality is, yes, £100 or whatever for a massage gun, but are you going to muck yourself up with one? Probably not. No, but they're not. They're absolutely not worth it. No. Right, we've spoken about this. Morning routines. These are number one bullshit.
This is number one bullshit.
I hate morning routines primarily because I'm not a morning person. But like the reality is, these are popularized by morons who don't understand how the human body works. Your circadian rhythm is completely individual to you. It is also the one bit of biology which has been proven to be incredibly difficult to make any like lasting change to. If you are similar to myself and you are very skewed towards afternoons or evenings, if you're getting up at 4:30 in the morning because some idiot influencer is telling you to, you are going to be absolutely bollocksing yourself because your body's not used to it and it's not well adapted to it. So morning routines are absolute nonsense. Like if you are doing anything seriously as an adult, and this is outside of trail running, just trying to function, actually a much better way of doing it is work out when you work optimally in the day. Like for me, for training physically, middle of the afternoon, best time of day to go training by miles because I'm awake, I'm alert, everything's kind of responsive, etc. If I try and go in the morning, I'm just not as efficient training wise. So yeah, I would say that as a grown up, work out when you operate best. If that is skewed a little bit later, like great. If you're getting up at 4 in the morning, and we'll come on to this a bit later, if you're getting up at 4 in the morning, you're going to be in bed by 8 at night. Yeah, they're idiotic things designed by morons. Like, ignore them completely. Running armbands. Next one. No, there is no requirement to do this. We have several more appropriate mechanisms, including pockets, and I appreciate that women's shorts, for some reason, although I do think I can big up Dynafit reasonably here, I believe their women's shorts have pockets. Yeah, women seem to get the rough end of the stick with this one. Even my short shorts have pockets. Put your phone in your pocket. Don't rattle around with an armband. You look like a weirdo. Is it an active detriment? Probably not. But I don't know. You look pretty fucking dumb. Yeah, they are going in the bin. Don't like that. Right, back to the top end of the pile here. Running poles. I use running poles primarily because I've got a bad leg, so they massively help me. They allow you to use your arms for running, which is really useful. Are they for everyone? Absolutely not. Can they be a problem if you don't know how to use them properly? Absolutely they can. Having said that, as with I mean, I suppose you can make this argument about anything on this list, but I think poles are one, tripping over them, etc. I think, personally, if you're going to be thinking about running something really hilly or something with a load of distance, or both, it is definitely worth looking into finding a coach that can teach you how to use running poles properly. Cross-country skiing, there's loads of crossover there. And learning how to use them properly, understanding when you need to use them, and I think you will see performance benefits. Having said that, they're not necessary for everyone. They're definitely not going in S tier. Are they A or B? I'm going to put them in B tier. I ran, before I got injured, I ran for years without them, perfectly happily. When they snap, they are a nightmare. Like, you will deck out really hard if you snap a pole. I'm still recovering from a shoulder injury 3 months ago from that. So, yeah, okay, like, we'll put them in thinking about it. Yeah, I'm still slightly wary of mine, so that's fine. We'll put them there. Right, proper food. I love proper food. For me, particularly at any period of time, long period of time, proper food is better than any other form of food for running, for fueling, for running, because my stomach got something in. I've got a bit of padding. All of those gels, electrolytes get absorbed by some of this stuff. You also get a much better macronutrient balance. You're getting in some fat, some carbs, some protein. Like ham and cheese sandwiches for me were always like a go-to. Do you need to take proper food on every run you do? Absolutely not. I would say probably anything under like 6 hours, it's probably not worth it. If you are missing a meal time for running, like take a sandwich with you. Why not? It's a really nice thing. You don't even need to stop to eat it. I'm a fan. I'm going to put this in. I'm going to put it in probably do this too. Like, I think real food's a really good thing, and I think if you haven't tried it when running, like, try it. It's not going to work for everyone. Some people do not. Does that bump it down a tier? Yeah, I'll put thinking about it. Okay, like, some people don't digest well when they're running, hence why I bumped it down a tier. But for me, it definitely is a tier above, like gels and carb drinks and stuff. Right, technical difficulties. I'm a trail runner, not a computer person. So, sorry about that. We'll crack on. Right, rest. Yeah, rest. Easiest S tier. Opposite of morning routines. Like, if you don't rest, you're not going to recover. You're not going to train as well. It kind of is as simple as that, really. It's why I hate all these morning routine people so much, because the reality to it is if you're waking up at 4 a.m, you're not getting enough sleep. Absolutely critical. Next question. Hydration belts. I kind of love a hydration belt, actually. Like, I never used to wear them. But I then found that, particularly in hot weather, if I wanted to run for like an hour and a half, it was a really nice thing to be able to take your shirt off in the sun, go for a long run, not have to worry about like putting a hydration vest on, etc. And just be able to crack on. Like, they do have limited capacity, so they do have limited use, but like, yeah, I can't rank them lower than hydration vests, because in most circumstances I prefer them. Like, right, yeah, A tier, go in there. Running underwear. I have a take on one half of running underwear, and I appreciate that for the ladies,
Overhyped.
you're going to have probably a different view on this in terms of how essential it is. Like, personally, they are a nice thing, but not an essential. Like, don't get me wrong, like, and I suspect that a sports bra is probably this, like, similar but more essential. Like, I love having my bollocks like cushioned when I'm running. It's a nice thing. Does that mean that I can't go running in a pair of like natty old pants? Absolutely not. Like, running underwear is expensive as well. Like, £36 for a pair of boxer shorts is a lot of money. Do they make your life better? Yes, they do. They do make your life better, and particularly for long stuff. I think the longer you're going, the more you're going to appreciate it. Like, I would say, it kind of is a probably do this, but at the same time they are expensive, and I think that unless you're doing this all the time, and yeah, they are nice though, aren't they? You know what? I'm going to put running underwear, because I suspect women probably benefit from sports bras more than men do from running pants. I suspect for the majority of women, I suspect that a sports bra. Well, let me know. Leave a comment down below for the two women that want to watch my face for an hour. Like, let me know what you think. I'm putting it in probably do this too. I think that running underwear in general terms is probably a good thing. Right, now we're getting into the meat and veg of some of the stuff which I think is going to be pretty easy. Like, shirts. Shirts are not essential. Like, they're not shirts are not going in S tier. I love running without a shirt on. I very much doubt anyone else loves me running without a shirt on, but I bloody love it. Having said that, as I mentioned earlier, hydration vest, a shirt is an essential. You are not going to have happy nipples if you're running with a hydration vest and not a shirt. It's going A tier. Like, yeah, you're going to be wearing a shirt a lot of the time. I think as well there's something like super antisocial about running through a town without a shirt on. Maybe that's me just being like too British, very reserved and conservative. But like, yeah, when you're out on the trail, like, take your shirt off, enjoy the sun. Shoes, like running shoes, S tier. I'm going to do a separate video on shoes specifically, because I think getting shoes right is the most important thing you can do when you're running. And getting it wrong can be like the biggest problem. Like, you know, ultimately running is using your feet to propel you over a distance. Like, if you don't look after your feet, you're going to have a pretty unhappy time. But a good pair of shoes can be, you know, the difference between sort of enjoying it and not enjoying it, because you're either in pain or you're not. But it can also obviously be the difference between like PBs, you know, great times, you know, on the trails, obviously, like big stability, not knackering your toes, etc. So shoes can't go anywhere other than S tier. Shorts, I mean the same really. Like, you ain't going to be running around in your pants, or certainly I'm not. Again, I'm not going to use this video to comment on the different types of shorts. Personally, I'm a single skin man, although I will wear both. Yeah, I think the inner net for a bit of extra support, not a bad thing. Is it essential? Absolutely not. Personally, short shorts over long shorts. Sorry, Courtney DeWalter, not that you'll be giving a toss about what I think about trail running, but there you go. But yeah, I'm a short short over a long short man. But yeah, I mean, you ain't going running without a pair of shorts. So easy S tier. Snacks, back on the nutrition front. As stated previously, I'm a sort of solid food over liquid food kind of guy. So I'm going to put snacks in the same tier as proper food. I think that whilst proper food is a great thing, like, you don't necessarily want to be like eating the fucking banquet buffet during the course of a trail run. For me personally, snacks are the best way of getting in particularly carbohydrate, like little and often, basically. So whether it is, bite-sized flapjacks, peanuts, cheese, salami, anything like that, like for me, snacking is kind of the way to go, really. So do I put it above proper food? Yeah, I'm going to. Like, if you have ambition to run anything further than a half marathon, even maybe a half marathon, you're going to want to be eating something over that course of time, unless you are like elite. On a trail run, probably, even if you are elite, actually. So, like, yeah, I think getting into the hang of snacking whilst trail running is super essential, and everyone's going to be slightly different. Like, some people enjoy eating going up the hill. Personally, I find if I'm trying to breathe hard going up a hill and putting a flapjack in my mouth, I'm basically going to die. So, like, yeah, don't know, but snacking is probably, in my view, the best, most common way that people are going to get fuel whilst moving. Socks. I think socks are overrated. In fact, I'm doing socks and toe socks in a wanna here. Mainly, right. Let's start with toe socks. Absolutely not. Like, why would you allow stuff in between your toes when you don't have to? Like, normal socks will stop grit and stones and shit getting in between your toes and prevent, like, blistering and all that nastiness. Toe socks, like, actively encourage it and are really expensive, like, and just totally unnecessary. Like, yeah, don't buy toe socks. They're a complete waste of money and they'll make your life worse. I enjoy running without socks. Like, these trainers specifically have, like, a lot of them do. Like, Dynafit do them, Nike do them, two that I know about, Salomon do them. There are loads of running brands now that kind of incorporate, like, a little socky bit into the top of the shoe. And you can absolutely use them without socks. And it's really nice. Having said that, would I do that during a race over a really long distance? Probably not. Socks do stop shoes from rubbing. Yeah, they are generally a good thing, I think. But not essential. You don't wear them all the time. Like, it's a nice thing to let your feet breathe now and again. Yeah, A tier. Right, speed work.
I feel the need for speed.
Speed work gives you, like, your gears in running. And we'll come on to how that differs from threshold training later. I'm going to do I'm going to do another, like, much more detailed video on all of this. Particularly over long distances, how essential is speed work as part of a training program? I would argue not. Like, it's going to make you a little bit quicker in certain circumstances, but I think there's much more efficient stuff that the majority of people can do most of the time that's going to pay greater dividends than speed work in and of itself. I'm well aware that I'm going to annoy lots of shorter distance runners with this, because for them speed work's going to be more essential. But I'm a long distance picnicker, so I don't really care. If solid food is going in B tier, then speed work's going in. Probs don't bother. Like, I think the more seriously you take this and the more you care about winning stuff, the more important speed work is going to be. There are probably like 20 people per race that realistically might win. And I think that for the vast majority of people, like, speed work's not an essential part of the training program. It's also really fatiguing. Like, from a central nervous system point of view, speed work is super fatiguing. So I also wouldn't recommend it for, like, beginners. Like if you're a seasoned runner wanting to get quicker, then it's got a place. Other than that, probably not. GPS watches. I do not wear them all the time, so I'm not going to put it in S tier. I think there is, as much as data has a place in training, and it's always good to know like how far you've run. It's also now and again really nice to not wear it and not be driven by the data and just go for a run for the sake of enjoying running. Having said that, they are great for training. Giving data points is a really good thing in terms of it gives you head marks to aim for, etc. So like it's definitely not essential, but actually, you know, even for capturing distance, like they have loads of useful features these days. Like they can act as an emergency beacon, so if you get injured on the trail and you have no mobile phone signal, your watch can call an ambulance for you or whatever it happens to be. They are pretty useful bits of kit. They are also bloody expensive though. Like a £15 Combat Casio, you know, will tell you like how long you've been running for, I guess. I'm really torn between like A and B tier here. I think they're good. I think knowing where you are, being able to set routes on it, yeah, I think net positive probably. Strava, sort of coming on from running watches like Strava, like I don't use Strava and I never have. Which is not to say that it's not a nice thing. I think there is a community feel to it, which is a nice thing. Like it does drive competition, which I suppose encourages people to be better, which is not a bad thing. But, you know, at the same time, like is it necessary in any way, shape or form? Absolutely not. I would say with Strava that like particularly if you are not like it can help you with running routes in your local area, I guess. You know, if you're not on an elite training pathway, then it will, you know, can give you some incentive to like go out and train to get quicker, etc. So yeah, I have nothing against Strava, certainly. People that go running and draw penises in GPS is really funny. I would definitely think about it. Like, why not? I find it's a bit of a faff in terms of the concept of it. Like, I can't, you know, uploading it to Strava, etc. Can I be bothered with all that? Probably not. But it's nice to be part of something, isn't it? Yeah, probably think about it. Like, I can't get overexcited about it, but at the same time, yeah, why not? Strength training. Right, I've talked about hybrid training and rated it pretty low. Strength training for me is absolutely A tier. Like, it's not S tier because the reality is people have limited time. That's the only reason for me that it's not S tier. And I think that if you've got limited time in the week, if you've only got like 3 training sessions that you can do, like, get out on the trail. Like, the reality is being in the gym doing strength training absolutely helps in terms of your speed work. Simply getting stronger is going to make you faster. There are plenty of ways to do it without getting heavier as well. It will make you more efficient, you know, simply in terms of your output of your muscles. And the main thing from my point of view is it really, really can bomb-proof you against injury. Like, it just, you know, bigger muscles, you're a bit more robust, etc. Having said that, conscious that I'm, you know, I do this full time, so I have got time. If you don't have time, then yeah, I would probably, yeah, it's not intrinsically going to make you a better trail runner. Having said that, like, I think for anyone who's probably training more than about 4 or 5 hours a week, I would encourage them to start incorporating elements of strength training into their running program. Definitely. Sunscreen. Like, medically, I ought to put this in S tier, but there is a reality that I rarely put it on. If I'm going out for like an hour, hour and a half, I just can't be bothered. It gets in your eyes, stings, but it is good. And like, you will get sun exposed on the trail. I ought to be responsible with this, didn't I? I got super sunburnt when I was in Antarctica, and did wear it every day. Yeah, it's sun cream's kind of got to be S tier, hasn't it? Like, the reality is, like, kind of do as I say, not as I do. I am not a perfect human, but like, I ought to be putting sun cream on every time I go out for a run. Like, a big part of the fun of this is spending time in the outdoors, spending time in the sun. You probably ought to be protecting yourself for it when it's that easy. Get this one or similar that has a really good like natural mineral composition as well. That's what I'll say on sun cream. Sunglasses, like, I wear sunglasses all the time, because I'm short-sighted. So I have prescription sunglasses that allow me to actually see where I'm going, which is really good. I wear them basically all the time, even in the winter. I pretty much only don't wear them when it's dark, because they look cooler than my reading glasses. Are they essential? No, but I do love them. Yeah, I love sunglasses. They're going in A tier. I think they're really, really good. But they're certainly, they are not the difference between going for a run or otherwise. Right, supplements. This is like another really broad topic, and I will go into in a different video what I take, what I don't take, and why. My personal view is these can be everywhere from like S tier to S tier to F tier. Some are great, really worth it. Some are not. I probably should have split this down, shouldn't I? Personally, I take a multivitamin every day, which I do even when I'm not training. But then you've got other stuff which is simply not, like amino acids. Eat meat and take protein supplements. That's all you need to do. Don't bother to take separate amino acids. It's all part of the same thing. I'm going to aggregate them out and say, in fact, you know what? I'm going to aggregate them out and say probably don't bother. I think the vast majority of people, the vast majority of the time, do not need to supplement outside of eating a healthier diet. And I would suggest that eating a whole food diet with complete macronutrient and vitamin and mineral profiles is significantly better than supplementing, certainly in terms of cost. I totally get it in terms of like efficiencies, etc. Supplementing absolutely has a place. Am I being a hypocrite by saying that? You know what? Think about it. I'm not going to say probably don't bother, because I do think that like a vitamin and mineral tablet for everyone is a good thing. So yeah, think about it. Like, what do you need? What works for you? Don't waste your money on stuff that you don't need, basically. Survival blanket. Right. I do not like survival. This is a survival bag, because most races' mandatory safety kit now is a survival bag, not like a foil blanket. I do not like survival bags. I have never used one. They are heavier than foil blankets. I absolutely understand the circumstances in which you would use one. But as mentioned right near the start with down jackets, like, for my money, even if it's tipping down with rain, put a down jacket on, put a waterproof jacket over the top of that. You are going to be warmer than you are in a survival bag. Whilst I get the purpose of the survival bag, I can't see it being a life or death difference. I'm putting them in props, not bother. Like, you will need one. If you enter races, particularly anything over sort of half marathon distance, you will be mandated to take a survival bag with you. Outside of that, I have never taken one on a run with me. I suppose very similar to a first aid kit, really. I simply I can envisage a worst case scenario in which you might use one, but like, is that likely to happen? Like, not at all. Cool, we are getting there. Well done for bearing with me. Threshold training. Okay. Threshold training is both the best and worst sort of training modality to use. It is the most efficient and effective way of getting you faster over a long distance. It is also the most fatiguing way of doing it, and probably the most painful as well. Having said that, if I was coaching someone who was not a complete novice and was looking to get quicker over a specific distance further than about 5 kilometers, this is the methodology I would use. I'm going to put it in thinking about it, because I think for me, threshold training is kind of, if you don't know what you're doing, think about 80-20 as a base guideline. If you do know what you're doing, think about incorporating threshold training. That is kind of how I look at it. Like, are you going to be able to finish races without it? Yes, absolutely. Of any distance, yes, you are. Are you going to be training optimally as an experienced trail runner without it? Like, probably not. So I'm going to whack it and think about it. I think that's a pretty fair way of doing it. It is painful and tiring are basically the two downsides. Waterproof jacket. I do love a waterproof jacket in the same way that I hate waterproof shoes. Like, you are going to get wet trail running, particularly if you're doing it in the UK.
We're okay. We are okay.
And like, having wet feet I can cope with. Having like wet everything else, particularly a wet shirt, like sticking to you, can be a bit unhappy, and particularly if it's raining as well. I kind of haven't put windproof jacket in here because it seemed like overkill, but waterproof and windproof I think is a really good item, and actually if it's tipping it down with rain can be the difference between getting out of the house and not. So I'm kind of inclined to put this in S tier actually. Although, are you going to need it all the... Look, the reason I'm putting it in S tier is because in the winter, when it's hammering down with rain, like, you don't want to go running, and actually putting your waterproof on might be the difference between getting yourself out of the door and not. I'm putting it in S tier. I think a waterproof jacket is a really good thing. On the flip side, waterproof trousers, easy F tier. Do not waste your money on these. Right, the reality with waterproof trousers is you will likely need them if you're entering races, purely because they are part of the mandatory safety kit. I do not understand this. Your skin is waterproof. Like, if I do not understand under what circumstances a set of like clingy, sweaty, waterproof trousers is going to keep you warmer than just moving with shorts on. Like, I do not understand it. I've got waterproof trousers. I have literally never used them. I resent having to take them with me every time that I have a mandatory kit list with them on, because I know that I, under no circumstances will I put these on. They're the worst things in the world. Like, you might have to buy them at some point for a mandatory kit list. If you're anything like me, you will resent having to do that. Safety whistle. This is kind of most hydration packs now. The chest clip has a built-in whistle, so they've kind of neatly circumvented the need to get a separate one. Like, I'm not going to dwell on this because it's a boring item. Individual whistle, not worth it at all. It is normally part of mandatory kit. Do you need to buy a separate one? Absolutely not. Are you ever going to use it? No. If you need to whistle, you're just going to shout at people. No, it's not worth it at all, actually, is it? No. You'll probably have one on, like, check your hydration pack. It'll probably have one on there. Final item. Well done for lasting this long. Zone 2 training. Yes, S tier. As a trail runner, particularly anyone that's looking at doing like 10k or further, I would say the majority of your training is going to be zone 2, like long and slow runs. this will make up the bulk of your training. This can make up all of your training if you want it to. You are going to be able to run, if you increase the distance of your training, you are going to be able to run whatever distance you choose as comfortably as you are able to train for by simply training in zone 2. It is very efficient in terms of distance to fatigue ratio, as I've sort of alluded to with like threshold training and stuff. So for me, like, yeah, the vast majority of training I do is in zone 2. It is like zone 2 training kind of is running from my point of view. So like easy S tier. Right. Anyway, that is, I think probably not a bad list of stuff. Let me know if you think that I've left anything out. Let me know if you think I've got stuff wrong, and why. Like, let's be constructive around it, and also let me know if there is specific stuff in here that you want to see me talking about in more detail in future videos, because there is going to be more content, and we'll go from there. But for the time being, thanks for listening and watching, and catch you in the next one. Hi, I'm Johnny Huntington, and I'm too fucking old to be on YouTube. What am I doing?